November 19th, 2009. I cannot remember the day before nor the day after, but I remember that night, sharp as a knife. My brother and I were at home alone watching The Lion King. Then he barged in like a bear, went straight to the bedroom and started throwing bags out. Our bags. Mommy came back. He fought her and tried to keep her from getting into the house. I was dazed, trembling. Mommy tried to get in through the kitchen window. He ripped the curtains from their rods and beat her with it. He beat her with the cotton rod. I was 7. Faith was 4. Mommy was 7 months pregnant with Flo. Grandma came. One of Mommy's brothers came. The neighbors gathered outside our flat. That's all I remember about that night. I don't remember where we slept, but I remember we didn't sleep there. I also remember that was one of the last times we would see our father again. I remember the flat vividly. When we moved in, it was plain cement. He had it tiled, repainted, and tastefully furnished. We had a small cylindrical aquarium with rubber fish that bubbled when power came on, a pink telephone that did not work, a circular electronic 3D display hosted on the wall by the kitchen window, and a sign on the toilet door. Most people didn't have that. The entrance had sliding doors, then a narrow hallway that led to the bedroom on the left and the living room on the right. From the living room was the toilet, and by the right side of the toilet was the kitchen window. Food was passed from the kitchen window into the living room. The kitchen could be accessed from outside the flat only. The next few days after the separation were blank. Grandma received a quit notice from her landlady. Grandma was shocked because she attended the same church with the other grandma, who was her landlady. We moved into an uncompleted building in Olota after Ekoro Junction, Ile-Epo, Lagos. Us, Grandma, and Mommy's youngest brother. That was the beginning of the back and forth. Mommy struggled, Grandma struggled. I cannot remember how the day-to-day life was before the house was completed. But if I cannot remember it, it means it was so despondently blurry, my subconscious decided to bury it. Grandma got tiles from her pastor, but the keke driver could not go down the sloping cul-de-sac that the house was located. Grandma hefted the bags of tiles to the house on her head. Mommy cemented a side of the front pavement. We had stopped school. Mommy left the house one day in January 2010 and came back in a yellow taxi with a baby in a white shawl. Floor. On his naming ceremony, our father sent his names via text. He didn't come. Nobody from his side came. Mommy and Grandma told me and Faith the reason Mommy came late was because they couldn't pay the hospital bills and they were detained at the hospital till he came. But when family asked, they said it was because Mommy developed complications and she had to stay to heal. I missed Mommy like a hole in my heart those days she was in the hospital. We didn't like the food. Mommy and Grandma told us in disbelief that when Mommy's mother-in-law dropped Flo after carrying him for a while, he began to ooze blood from his nose and anus. The doctors used a siphon to suck the blood out. This was how I pictured it in my head. A barely 1-week-old baby oozing blood, his diapers stained with blood, Mommy screaming the name of God, Grandma screaming the blood of Jesus. Mommy dealt in the wholesale of mother and baby care, so Flo did not lack the finest baby clothes, diapers, shawls, powders, oils, and strollers. That was where the business ended. Neighbors asked us when we visited the wells in their compound for water, "Is that your daddy?" referring to my mommy's youngest brother. "No," I replied. "Where is your daddy?" "He's in London." Mommy told us to say our father was in London if anybody asked. Of course, we had to lie. Before the separation, we were very okay. We didn't have a car or millions, but we ate goodies and delicacies, paid bills on time, had luxurious furnishings, and had a bicycle. Most kids didn't have bicycles. I was never sent home for school fees, so we were very, very okay. Now, we were like survivors of a war, destitute, hungry, destabilized. Flora was not up to 30 days old. when mommy went to find work with him on her back. Mommy set up a provision stall in the front of the house. She brought sweets in cartons from Cotonou to sell. I monitored the stall. Fav and I ate nearly half the biscuits, sweets, milk, and chocolate on display. I remember doing more chores than I had ever done before, washing everyone's clothes, mine, Fav's, mommy's, and grandma's. I almost died one afternoon, gritting my teeth at the basin of discolored water. It is not all that jumbled in my memory. I remember mommy falling out with most of her family. Perhaps she was blamed. One night she went to work and we were locked in the room. Flo began crying, wailing. I made him tea in his feeding bottle, but he wouldn't take it. Frustration tore at my head till I began crying too. I remember the door was locked because grandma came to the doorstep, pounding on the door in a panic, asking what was wrong with baby Flo, and I could only cook. The only light was from a candle. I prayed the candle would not go out. I put flour down and poured sugar into his tea, hoping he would drink it. He drank it. Why do I remember this night and not the others? Maybe I feel guilty about the sugar. I remember my 8th birthday. Grandma sang for me in the morning while I danced foolishly in the living room, pretending to be happy. The house was furnished with grandma's old poor belongings, an old TV set, 2 beds in the bedroom, old, sagging, dull, wine-colored cities. The entrance led directly into the living room, with grandma's room by the right and the other room by the left, the living room in the middle. A couple of months after Flo was born, Mommy found a friend in the next 2 streets, Mommy Sharon. We lived in our 3 bedroom flat there for a while till she went back to Europe or Italy. It must have been during this time Grandpa was moved into Grandma's house because I remember taking food to him from Mommy Sharon's apartment. Mommy enrolled us in Living Seed schools. I was in primary 4, same school Sharon went to at the time. That was the second to the last time I saw my father. He came to my school with a large purple bag containing goodies and my first phone, Visa phone. He specifically told me the phone was mine, not my mommy's. Then he left. How he found us, I don't know. One specifically fair boy, Jared, saying no one from London could have gotten to Nigeria that fast. I didn't know what to say. When I came first in class, a boy who always had running nose, Jared, saying I cheated since I had spent only 1 term in the school. I remember placing the phone under the Christian altar in Mommy Sharon's living room at night, thinking it was a safe place for it to be. Mommy laughed at me. I can't remember if it was that night or some other night, but Mommy made pancakes one night and we ate in the balcony.